A Russian Su-34 bomber, mistakenly identified as a Su-27, crashed in the Nizhny Novgorod region during a training flight. The Russian news agency RIA Novosti reported on this. The plane crashed while landing due to the failure of one of the landing gear wheels. The crew made several attempts to resolve the problem in flight, but the situation remained unchanged. Following the flight director's orders, the crew brought the aircraft to a safe area and ejected. Both crew members are reported to have survived, and the aircraft crashed in an uninhabited area without causing any damage. According to Baza, the crash took place near the villages of Veletma and Kulabaki. 12 kilometers away is the Savoslayka airfield, where a branch of the 4th State Center for Aviation Personnel Training and Military Testing is located. Presumably, the training flight was conducted from there. It is reliably reported that MiG-31 interceptors and MiG-31K strike aircraft are currently based at this airfield. However, a month earlier, the Ukrainian General Staff reported the appearance of Su-34 bombers at the airfield. It should be noted that this is the second loss of a Su-34 bomber in a year for the Russian military, caused by landing gear failure. The first incident occurred in March, but then the aircraft managed to make a hard landing on its fuselage. During landing, part of the left engine was torn off, which definitely put the aircraft out of service for a long time, with the risk of complete write-off. With the appearance in the Russian arsenal of cheap and mass-produced bombs with UMPC modules, which allowed them to be dropped on targets from a safe distance, the destruction of their carriers became a priority for the defense forces. Therefore, in June this year, the Security Service, together with the Special Operations Forces, carried out a large-scale operation at the Russian Marinovka airfield. It was announced that 2 Su-34s had been completely destroyed and 2 more aircraft of this type had been damaged. Subsequently, satellite images in the optical and radar spectrum confirmed this information. 2 damaged aircraft were seriously damaged. At the site of one of the destroyed aircraft, there was probably a detonation of suspended weapons. The Russian media project Astra also reported that a 5th aircraft was hit during the attack on the airfield on June 27th. According to their data, 3 Su-34s were completely destroyed and 2 were partially destroyed. In addition, 1 Russian serviceman was wounded. The Ukrainian resistance movement blew up a railway track in the temporarily occupied part of the Zaporizhia region, which led to the suspension of Russian trains in this area. The press service of the Main Directorate of Intelligence of Ukraine reported on this. The intelligence officers also released a video from a drone that recorded the results of successful actions. The DIU stated that the resistance movement against the Russian invaders, in cooperation with intelligence officers, performed another operation on June 26, 2025. Then, in the temporarily occupied territory of the Zaporizhia region, an explosion destroyed a railway track in a section that Russian invaders actively used for logistics. Almost a week later, on July 1st, the Russian invaders restored the sleepers and rails and let a military freight train run on them, but the track was damaged again by the Ukrainian Defense Forces. The DIU reports that the enemy locomotive is out of commission. The footage in the video shows that the train with dozens of cars is standing still. The intelligence officers noted that one of the key logistics branches of the Russian army in the Zaporizhia region is blocked again. Earlier, Ukrainian defenders had already stopped the movement of Russian trains in this region and attacked them, in particular, using FPV drones. Armenia should seriously begin discussing the issue of stopping broadcasting of Russian TV channels, the president of the Armenian National Assembly, Alan Simonian, said. According to him, speeches of degenerate TV hosts and mankirts really hurt Armenian-Russian relations.
It implies that what is happening is striking at the Armenian-Russian friendly relations. First, in general, what connection does what is happening have with Armenian-Russian relations, and how is this arrest affecting?
Well, maybe he has watched the degenerate hosts programs, and it gave me the impression that this really affects Armenian-Russian relations, and indeed their degenerate hosts, their speeches indeed harm Armenian-Russian relations. I believe that as a result of these things, we must seriously discuss the issue of stopping the broadcasting of Russian TV channels in the territory of the Republic of Armenia. That The programs of those monkeys, those uncultured ones, have long been closed in the Republic of Armenia. Their entry into the Republic of Armenia is closed. But if state channels allow themselves to interfere in Amen,
Metropolitan Opera director Peter Gelb, I do not wish to maintain cultural ties with murderers. Peter Gelb is a major figure in the arts world who strongly supports Ukraine. Immediately after Russia's full-scale invasion in 2022, he announced that he was severing all ties with artists who support the invasion of Ukraine. The Metropolitan Opera is the first cultural institution in the world to publicly condemn Russia's attack.
My opinion is that Putin is an opportunist and that he is using whatever arguments he thinks will help him in prosecuting his case, which is to bring Ukraine back into Russia. Russia has always used culture as a propaganda tool and a weapon, which is why I'm part of my effort to support Ukraine is to do the same for Ukraine against Russia.
It's so simple, in fact.
I think that I can't say for sure, but obviously Putin fooled the world for the first years when he was in power, because people believed, including the government of America, believed that he was not who he really was, and they found out. Unfortunately, the government we now have in office doesn't know anything about this themselves, and no one understands why the American government has suddenly betrayed Ukraine, which it has, and maybe we'll never know. But clearly, it's important for Ukrainians to understand that there are cultural leaders like myself. I'm not alone in supporting Ukraine. The people who believe in democracy, who believe in freedom, who believe in a free world, understand the danger of autocratic governments, not just Putin, but all the autocratic dictatorships that are rising up in this world. And this is why this battle is so important, because Ukraine's battle is the world's battle for democracy. And the world's battle for democracy must be won. Otherwise, we will live in an uncivilized, prehistoric place where there is no humanity. Ukrainian people are very different than the Russian people. The Ukrainian people are optimistic people, in spite of the fact that they are facing the most horrible situation. They live.
Yeah, we're still laughing.
They laugh. They live for today. They live for the future. They are not stuck in the past. Russia is stuck in the past. Putin is stuck in the past. And I think as events unfold, more and more people understand that.
Kim Jong-un is burying North Korean soldiers who died in Russia's Kursk region. He and the locals don't seem too thrilled about the partnership with Russia. Germany now officially supports Ukraine's NATO membership, President Zelensky stated. We value Germany's clear signal. Ukraine's future is in NATO. It's important that all partners share this vision. We thank the Chancellor, his team, and the German people for their unwavering support and leadership in Europe's defense assistance. Zelensky added that discussions included expanding sanctions pressure on Russia, potential deliveries of additional IRIS-T air defense systems, and joint weapons production in both Ukraine and Germany.
Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Also, if you want to support Warthog Defense, please become our member and get early access to new videos, exclusive members-only videos, and become administrator in comments section. The membership link is in the description.
Rescues every day. We had a guy last week at 6 rescues in 6 days. He's doing the job every day.